It is Hump Day, and we are live, checking my phone, seeing who's out there. Happy Hump Day. I hope you're having a good Wednesday this week. It's a new week. Well, it's a new Wednesday. The week started already. Silly me. Yes, yes, yes. So it is a Hump Day happy chat time. I'm Valerie Shepherd. I'm coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self Mastery, where we help you master you, this magnificence that you are, master you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way, whatever that is. And you sometimes need a lot of help managing the great stuff too. The good stuff, it's not about good or bad. It's about they're just dynamics that sometimes need a little bit extra to manage them. And so it is Wednesday. We come here on Wednesday with the focus to give you some tips and tools to help you do that adulting thing, do that self mastery thing in your life so that you can live a life that you love living. And especially when it seems difficult or hard. And it has seemed difficult and hard for a long time. We're 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 approaching a year of difficulty and tough times. And so my heartfelt desire is that you get some benefit out of these hump day happy chats. Um, we're all about helping you get into that space of self awareness combined with self acceptance. Because sometimes the things we become aware of are kind of like, what? I do what? Uh, so self acceptance and then self love. Like, how do I give myself the love that I think I have to find outside? That's what self mastery is rooted in, understanding who you are and why and where did the aspects of you that you are come from, and then are they serving you? Like, that's a really big one. Are they serving you? Good morning. If you're out there joining me on the hump day happy chat this morning or any morning, please type in the comments. I'm going to try and find you on my phone, which is not always easy for me to do. um, but type in the comments your name and where you're popping in from so I can say howdy. Okay, so this morning, this topic has been gnawing at me a little. It's called Speak a Blessing Over Me. I love the way that feels. Speak a blessing over me. And this came to me partly because I was listening to someone else talk about it, and I was like, I like that. I like the meaning in that. And then some things came to me that I thought I would like to share. So I'm going to go through this whole idea. Thank you, Joel Osteen, for planting this seed in me. And what I'm talking about is, I bet we all can remember times when the words that were spoken over us were anything but um, enlivening, anything but okay, the word's not coming to me. Okay, hello, aphasia. Anything but positive, anything but enriching, anything but kind, anything but kind. And there's a lot of that going on, right? People are speaking words over other people, speaking words about them that are inherently negative, and in some cases, downright ugly. There's some ugliness. There's a lot of ugliness. Downright ugly. Like, is that, I don't know if that's really necessary. And so these things can be very insidious. Like I remember one of my report cards, I'm going to say it was in first or second grade. I don't know I don't remember for a fact, but one of my report cards said I was too talkative and that the girls on the playground had called me bossy. Bossy. Interesting. Interesting. Now I'm a speaker and I teach leadership. So maybe bossy was the early form of leadership. But in all honesty, I also know that I was bossy. There was bossiness in my tendencies. But then what about other people too? Like you hear about people who are superstars today and yesterday they were told they couldn't do it. So famous stories like Michael Jordan, who in 1978 was cut from his varsity high school, his high school, Lamy High School varsity basketball team, and then goes on to be, well, Michael Jordan, right? And you hear it all the time about from Oscar winning actors who were told they didn't get the part in any of their high school dramatic performances, and scientists. There is a story, I'm an Albert Einstein fan because of his right brain, left brain integration and how spiritual he was. Um, there is a story that he failed a math class. That is not true, by the way. So he didn't, he never failed a math class. The man was a genius. He kind of skipped out on them. He might have gotten an F, but that was because he didn't bother to go because he was bored to death. But he didn't fail because he was idiot or whatever. Okay, so um, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so these are magnificent beings who are standing in their magnificence despite, in spite of what had been spoken over them. I love this story that I heard, and it was actually told by Joel Osteen about Gaylord Perry, who is this, I love sports, so I'm going to give lots of sports analogies, but he was a Hall of Fame pitcher for the San Francisco Giants. I am not a San Francisco Giants fan, but I live in California, so it's relevant. Um, and um, like the story of, many pitchers, maybe pitchers are pitchers and maybe they're not the best hitters. Well, Gaylord Perry was not a great hitter. And this was in the 60s. So, all you young people, just bear with me. It's a cool story. When I get to the end, you'll see what I'm saying. 1964, his manager was having an interview with the newspaper, and they were talking about Perry's greatness as a pitcher. And then they came upon the conversation about his hitting. And his manager, like this is the manager of the baseball team, right, says to the newspaper for the entire world to see later, mark my words, a man will land on the moon before Perry will ever hit a home run. It was like a declaration of his inability to get the job done. And sure enough, for the next 5 years, Perry didn't hit any home runs and his hitting was not very good, in fact. And then you fast forward to 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are the first men to set foot on the moon. And believe it or not, that very same night, the Giants were playing the Dodgers. And Perry came up to bat and he hit a home run in the third inning of that game. Now, what's important here is to notice how the words that were spoken over him seem to lock him into this vibration. A man lands on the moon and he's unlocked. Isn't that interesting? The very same night, not 2 months later, after 25 games, the very same night, the very first game after this historic, a man will walk on the moon before Gaylord Perry ever hits a home run. The same night in the third inning, he bangs one out and spell broken. Isn't that interesting? What would have been possible for Mr. Perry without those words kind of rattling around, without that prayer, without that declaration rattling around in his psyche. So the question, what's rattling around in your psyche? What words have been spoken over you? What words have been spoken over you that are holding you into a space of things aren't working the way you want them to? Hi, everybody. If you're just joining, thank you very much. If you're watching the replay, please type in pound hashtag replay and say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Leave a comment or a question. Um, what would happen if you were to release yourself from this stuff, the stuff that technically isn't even yours to begin with? It's somebody else's idea of you. So today's topic, today's title, Speak a Blessing Over Me, which is calling in, releasing the negative things that have been prayed over you by you or someone else, and then welcoming in the beauty, the magnificence, the truth. The truth, y'all. Speaking the truth over yourself. So, historically, in many cultures, as a parent would age, the parent would call the children together, and they would speak a blessing over the most eldest. There's a famous Bible story. I think it's about Esau and his brother. One of his brothers coming to his father's bedside and getting the blessing that was supposed to go to the elder brother, but it got given to the younger brother, and what that created in the family. And so we're not going to get all biblical on this, but the point is, there have probably been things spoken over you that you may not know they're holding you in that vibration, in that story. You may not realize that that's really you. Like you're holding yourself in it now. Like it could be long ago. I mean, 5 years passed before Gaylord Perry was able to jump over the words. But the story had come true exactly as it had been said, and it had just rattled around in him. So think about all the time. So right now, see if you can connect to maybe the earliest time that words were spoken over you that maybe you got really anchored in. And as young children, we were not always able to discern that, hey, that's not real, that's not true, that's their idea. Or as we used to say when I was a kid, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks on you. Nah, 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 nah. So did you ever do that? Okay, I'm aging myself. Well, anyway, if you can connect to those times when something negative, something that sort of diminished you, that maybe hurt your feelings, hurt your heart, like left a little spot in your heart, a tender spot where now whenever you hear that or see that, you feel really upset. And it feels like it's you who's receiving the words again, all over again, because they're buried. There's a little pocket of pain inside you. So go to that spot and acknowledge it. And remember, in this living happy to be me, it's not about pushing things away and pretending they don't exist and trying not to hear them. We actually make a relationship. We actually say, oh, hello, pain. We actually walk toward it. We take a step closer toward that which is holding us back, because it's only in loving that thing out of existence, not shunning it and telling it to sit down and shut up, but embracing it and holding it in a tender heart, in heart math, that would be called a heart soak, holding it in a safe and tender space that we can actually dissipate the energy, like break the energy up and allow it to release and be removed. So here are some things for speaking a blessing over me. First, number one thing, mind your autopilot thoughts and ideas that you have of yourself. Like mind them. mind your thoughts, like pay attention, notice, Like some people that I talk to have these little insidious things running around inside them, and they come out at the most inopportune moments. And it's like, oh, I recognize that as a negative thought you just declared publicly about yourself. Now, sometimes they'll say, oh, I was just joking, but you can feel the energy of it nonetheless. The body doesn't know whether you're kidding or not. The body hears that. So mind yourself. That's where the self-awareness comes from. Like, notice, what's that thought that's back there? I can hear it rumbling around. When you get really into this, you'll also want to notice whose voice is that. Maybe it's not even your voice, it's something I heard. Like I heard from a first grade teacher or a second grade teacher. Maybe you heard something. Maybe it's not really true and it never was. It was that person's experience of you. You took an interpretation away from a situation and it became a Bible in your head of who you are. And now it's running you and probably running you ragged. So mind your autopilot thoughts of yourself, your ideas about yourself. Where do they come from? How positive or negative are they? Once you get clear, it's about emptying out the negative. You've got to take responsibility for shifting yourself into a higher vibration. Why? Because it's a vibrational universe, y'all. The truth is that law of attraction is working 24/7, 365, whether you like it or not, understand it or not, whether you even believe it or not. It doesn't care. The law is going to do what the law is going to do, and it's going to do it on you just like it does it on everyone else, just like the law of gravity. Unless you're out in outer space, you're governed. Your movement is governed by that law. So your job, if you want to call it that, your vibrant living, your blissful experience in life is to work in harmony with the laws. So empty out the negative. Weed your self-esteem, your self-confidence gardens. Get those weeds out of there. Forgive yourself for watering those seeds, the stories, the negative stories about you that don't serve you. Forgive yourself for hanging on to them for so long, for watering them unwittingly, sometimes knowingly. Forgive the people who planted the seeds. Forgiveness is a really powerful pathway to the release, to, to freedom, to freeing yourself into your magnificence. It's hard to speak words over yourself of beauty if you're sitting in ugliness. So you want to free yourself from that ugliness. Create a new story. This is step 2. Create a new story of who you want to be for yourself in your life. Who do you want to be? Weed the old stuff and then decide. The universe abhors a vacuum. The universe does not like a vacuum. So it's going to fill the void. So when you get rid of old stuff, you've got to consciously, proactively fill the void. You want to fill the void with something that's going to serve you as you get rid of the stuff that isn't. So, what's the good stuff that you want to fill that void with? Every time you let go of a negative idea, fill it with a positive one, a really true positive one. And if you can't come up with some positive ones, I've got a tip for you in a minute. You want to shift the narrative. When you're hearing negative things, you want to drown out the voice. Remember, la 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 la. Talk to the hand, like I'm not la la la. I'm not listening, not listening, not listening. You might have to do that to yourself. You might have to have yourself talk to the hand. What? What? I'm not listening. So that you can stop the runaway train with the ridiculousness that's blah blah blahing, like it always has, that isn't really serving you. Stop the train, get off, let the train go, get on a new train, fill yourself with some positive thoughts. Take a breath, speak a blessing over yourself. Now, I said a second ago, if you don't know any, and I have talked to people who were mortified that when we talked about what self love looked like and felt like, they had nothing to offer themselves. And if you're one of those people, it's okay. It's just learned behavior. You just learned how to be hard on yourself, how to take yourself to task, how to raise the bar. Every time you met an objective, you raised the bar on yourself. And so it never feels like you're ever getting anywhere. You're always behind. You were learned, you were taught how to compare yourself to others, and somehow you always come up wanting. That's okay. Forgive that. Let that stuff go. Here's how you can get some really good stuff that you can play with. So ask trusted friends, only trusted friends, the people who you know demonstrate all the time, come hither, thither, or yon, that they are a good buddy, that they see you, the real you, and they love you. Ask these people, and you don't have to ask dozens. You could ask three people to give you a list of 10 things that they admire about you, 10 things that they think you do really well. And then when they give you the lists, notice what's on them. I was very beautifully shocked and amazed with the things that these trusted people that I asked, who I asked, um, what they shared with me. It warmed my heart, but most importantly, it helped me see myself through a different set of glasses. It helped me kind of go, and I hope this happens to you. What happened to me was I was like, I am, I am kind of good at that, aren't I? Wow. Well, I thought I was good at it. I didn't know anybody else would notice. So ask two or three really close people, just 10 things that they admire about you. Not that they think you're good at, but that they admire about you, that they admire. You'll get to see their heart and you'll know a little bit deeper level why you're connected to them. And you'll get a beautiful look at yourself. And the most important thing is to save the lists and to put them in prominent places where you might judge yourself. So for a while, when I first got mine, they were by my mirror. They were also by my bed. I made copies and they were by my mirror in the bathroom so I could remind myself. And then they were by my bed side table. And I would read them before I went to bed. So I'd fill myself up with some good juju before I went to dreamy time. Fill yourself with good juju. And then lastly, release the rotten apples. If you got rotten apples in your world, and rotten apples, they're not bad people, right? They're just sometimes there are people who haven't been taught how to build themselves up. Like this is what we're talking about, how you own you and you take responsibility for your feelings. So they haven't maybe been taught that, how to build themselves up. And so the way they do it, unfortunately, is they tear other people down. Like if I tear you down, then I get to be king of the mountain. Did you ever play that game? Boy, I'm really aging myself today. I'm telling you all my age old things. We used to play King of the Mountain, and we would try and defeat whoever was on top. And so some people haven't learned how to build themselves up, and so they tear others down so that they can be the king or the queen of the mountain. And maybe you might even notice that you might have been one of those people. And now it's time to let that go. So release the rotten apples, the people who only have negative things to say about you. Maybe there's something else you can be doing. Maybe there's someone else you can be spending time with. Every relationship isn't supposed to be forever. And if you need help with dealing with difficult relationships, PM me and I'll give you some guidance to help you. So here's the most important thing. At some point, Gaylord Perry, the Albert Einsteins of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, all of them of the world, all of the people who've overcome seeming insurmountable odds to go on to be amazing in their respective fields. They all got into agreement and helped the seeds of their greatness take root and blossom. They all got into alignment with the seeds of their greatness. They all were able to tune out the opposition. Kamala Harris mentioned in one of her recent interviews that she eats no for breakfast. And I quote, I eat no for breakfast. And what I took from that is she doesn't hear the no's. When people tell her no, she gets fired up. That's how I go get things done. So she's connecting to her greatness. Tune out whatever opposition there is to your greatness, no matter who it's coming from. If it's from a parent or a sibling or a teacher or a boss, tune it out. La, 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 la. You might not want to do that right to their face. That might not go over well, but you could certainly do that inside. What you have been anointed to be by the Creator is still in you, to be lived, to be expressed out of you, and you can do it. So I'm going to close today. I'm going to speak some blessings over you so that we can anchor you in the blessings that you are and the blessings that you carry and the blessings that you should believe are yours more than anything else, especially anything negative that's been spoken over you. Believe the blessing. Believe that you are the blessing, that the blessing is coming to pass. So I'm going to declare and proclaim some things. So you might want to just take a deep breath and ground yourself and open your heart to receive. Receive. So I declare and proclaim for you this day is a special day. That supernatural favor from the divine is being heaped onto your plate today. That everything in your world that is good, that is supportive, that is sustaining, is increasing. That anything that is not is being transformed. I declare and proclaim a masterful transmutation of anything in your life that is holding you back. You are reaching your power center now and climbing the mountain now and summiting. You are reaching your summit. Any destination that you desire is becoming yours now. I declare and proclaim a blessing of great health. Great healthiness is subsuming your body, consuming every cell, every atom, every tissue, every sinew, every aspect of your beingness is being washed over with the great energy of perfect health. Perfect health in mind, body, and spirit. I'm speaking creativity into your world. Wherever there is something wanting new ideas to flourish, wherever there is the opportunity for some latent aspect of your brilliance to shine, you're shining it now. The creativity inside you is getting new form coming out of you. I'm I'm declaring and proclaiming that however far you have to go, you can go even farther, that you have the energy and the stamina and the wherewithal and the support and um, the service and anything else you need to go farther than you've ever gone before. I declare and proclaim that you have wisdom and it's shining through, that you have very clear direction. All three of your eyes are wide open, that you are making powerfully good choices, that you see the opportunity in front of you. And when you can't see it, a story, a blessing of intuition pops open and suggests breadcrumbs where you can go and look, and that things are opening and beckoning to you, and that it's easy and grace filled. I'm declaring and proclaiming that you are consumed with inner peace and self confidence. They are just washing through now, no matter how far you think you have to go or how high you think you have to climb. You've got that courage, you have the strength, you have the positive outlook to take you there, that you have vitality blossoming in your life, that you live a long, prosperous, fruitful life. that you have healthy relationships, that your relationships are flourishing, that they bring joy and fun, that you have laughter, that you're protected, that you have guidance, that you have a multitude of angels supporting and aiding you in everything that you do, that your comings and your goings are all blessed, that you have mountains of prosperity accumulating into wealth, that there is an abundance of all good things in your life, and that every negative thing is dissolved from every aspect of your life. These are the blessings. You can speak them over yourself at any time. Get into the yes energy and speak the blessings over you. What is it that you intend to create today? Speaking from you, to you, for you, by you. Hallelujah and amen. And as I always do, I'm going to close today's Hump Day Happy Chat with the metta prayer, the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha, the Karanaya Metta Sutra. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. Remember, all beings includes you and includes me. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature, and may all beings be free. Yay! And that is free from emotional trauma, free from the old stories that are holding you back. Speak a blessing over yourselves, y'all. Many blessings. Happy Hump Day. Thanks for joining me. See you next week. Bye now. Bye now.